Hello everyone, today we'll continue learning Python. Today we'll talk about speech recognition in Python and how can you implement speech recognition into your programs to make them cool and sharp. So let's start. First of all, if you don't know how speech recognition works in base layers, so it's a neural networks. Actually, every speech recognition is based on a neural network, and I won't talk about neural networks now because I'm not into them and it's a very large topic. But I won't create my own neural network. I will use already written neural networks like Google speech recognition, Sphinx speech recognition, Bing I think has its own speech recognition, and so on. And to install them or to use them in Python, we should install speech recognition module. So I'll open up my terminal and I'll write pip install speech and capitalized recognition. Okay. Then it will be installed. In my case, all requirements are already satisfied, I think, yes. And another thing, if you want to use your microphone in speech recognition, for example, if you want to say hello and see hello in your terminal as text or in variable. So if you want to interact with your microphone, you should install py and capitalized audio, like that. Now let's talk about Python. Speech recognition. I will import from speech recognition, but now, as you can see, speech underscore recognition, because we are in Python. Import, first of all, microphone, then not recognize IP, but recognizer. Basically, microphone, it's our microphone, and recognizer is a thing which will interact with Google API, Sphinx API, so which will interact with services that allow us to recognize audio. Okay, and we can import audio file, I think, because I will interact with audio file today. I have test VAV here, as you can see. Again, now let's start. First of all, what I want to do is create recognizer and microphone, because we will listen to the microphone and we will print our audio, like print you said and what we said. Okay, first of all, recognizer, of course. So recognizer, let's call it recognizer, right? Recog, and then microphone, mic equals microphone. So, okay, now everything will work fine, but if you want to use a special microphone, for example, you have two microphones or two headsets on your computer and you want to use first or second, or you want your user to switch between them, you can use for I in microphone.list microphone names, and that command will give you all the microphones names, and in microphone you have device index argument, and you can choose what device you want to use. Okay, then we have sample rate, which is actually sample rate, and chunk size, but I don't usually adjust them because from my point of view it's pointless, because we won't listen to our audio cue anyways. Okay, we just want to recognize our audio, but if you want you can change them, and by default they are already good or calibrated. Now what I want to do with so microphone itself has two methods. It's enter. If you know what enter and exit are, it's functions which help Python to work with context manager, and context manager it's with. So with helps us to work with every class or object which has exit and enter. Why? For example, we opened file test.vav, and because we opened file in stream, nobody except us can use it while we read from that file, while we write to that file. And if we want to close a file, so for example, you open the game and that game needs to update itself. And if you want to close that game, it cannot be updated because files cannot be all written. The idea is you should close every stream once you worked with it. And in Python you can open files, so open a equals open, then a.close, but if you work with 200 files or 2000 files, it's very easy to forget about that close, and because of that Python created with manager. So with actually uses enter to create an object and uses exit to close file, close in our case close microphone in our case, and so on. So it will manage your data, so it would open and close your microphone for you. That's easy. So with mic dot, no, just with mic. So with mic recognizer, or let's call audio, equals recognizer dot listen. So listen, first of all we need to provide a source of our information. So for example we have test.vav, but as I said, now I want to tell something to my microphone and so recognize what I just said. Okay, I will provide mic and we have timeout here. So timeout actually it's how many seconds will pass. So if for example you said hello and then wait for 1 second, timeout raises timeout error, and because of that error is raised in recognizer, you won't see anything, and because of that your code can move along and you can recognize or do whatever. In our case I'll pass 3 for example, so 3 seconds. Then we have phrase time limit and snowball configuration. I won't talk about them today because I have never used them. I used snowball once when I created like assistant for my computer, but they are easy to use and you can watch or look up information about them in documentation. But for now I just want to recognize audio and listens for microphone. And 3 is how many seconds will pass after we said something. After 3 seconds are passed, we close our listen, and that's easy. Then we need to recognize what we just said. So to recognize our audio, we can use recognize dot or recog dot recognize. Recognize Google, recog dot recognize Bing, recognize Google Clouds, things. You can see every type of recognition in the description or in the documentation, but I will use recognize Google because it's the most accurate one. Okay, and let's go recognized like that. Recognized equals recog.recognize Google, and we need to provide an audio. And in our case we have audio here which was recorded from our microphone. Okay, another interesting thing which we have here, it's language. So language is actually a language which you speak. You can look for any language, for example Russian in my case, or English US in your case, or English UK I think. Okay, but for now if you leave language as a blank, so if you provide only audio, it will be English US by default. Okay, and I think it fits everyone. And then let's go recognized, so what we just said, and I just want to provide print just as a hint. And now let's run and I'll talk in my microphone. Hello, hello, hello. Well, as you can see here, my program says you said hello, hello, hello 3 times, and everything is working fine. I think we can test it again. For example, python main.py. Okay, as you can see here, it only gets for example, and that's a problem, and we will solve it later. But for now I want to introduce new function which is called record. So record is as listen, but actually it's used for audio files, but we can use it with our microphone. So actually what we do here, microphone, and instead of timeout we use duration, how many seconds we will listen. And if for example I will say, okay, let's just run and hello, 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 fine. Okay, as you can see, you said hello, 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 everything works fine, and I think it's about my pronunciation, or I don't know. But there might be a problem. What if I run my file and I won't say anything? Let's run. I didn't say anything, and because of that we received speech recognition.unknown value error. Why is it received? Because by default speech recognition modules raises an error if it cannot be recognized, if your speech cannot be recognized. Okay, how we can solve this error? From speech recognition I need to import unknown value error, and I think, yeah, okay, unknown value error, then try recognized except unknown value error, and let's print. Okay, let's print you said here, because if we recognized then we can print here, but if we are unable to recognize what our user just said, let's print for example. Now let's run. So again I won't say anything, as you can see now our error is solved. So recognize Google raised an exception and we coded it here, and because of that unable to recognize. But there is another error which is bonded with your connection, not with recognize module and so on. It's called request error. So request error is called when we cannot get to the point of our services. So for example your internet connection is poor and request error is called, and what we can do here is accept request error and for example print, or let's go accept error as exception and print exception here. But I won't receive that error now because I think my internet connection is good and there won't be any error. Okay, but it's better to accept that error, because if your user will have poor internet connection, it will interrupt your whole program. Now let's talk about noises. What if your user or you stand in a noisy room or in a noisy place? What you can do here? Well, you can adjust ambient noise. So what we do here is recog.adjust for ambient noise actually, and we provide source, it's our microphone, and duration by default it's 1. But if for example you have cars and every car has its own sound, or actually if you have lots of noises, it's better for you to write duration, for example 5 or so on. What adjust for ambient noise does? Well, it simply listens to a microphone for a duration, and while it's listening, it's better for you not to say anything. And as far as I know, it's not allowed for you to say anything, so you won't interrupt a program. And while it's listening, adjust ambient noise gets noises and applies noise gate to your microphone. So it removes every noise and receives only your speech. Okay, I think let's run again, but I don't have much noises in my room, only my computer noise, and let's run again, just to make sure that it's working. And for next 5 seconds, I won't be able to talk anything. So let's start. As you can see now, nothing is happening, and talk. Hello everyone, PyCharm project. As you can see here, Google says that I said hello everyone, and it's right. So how we can listen to our microphone in the background, and why you should listen in the background? I will create that new function called define listen. Okay, then I'll create another function which is called define not main, let's call print like that with an underscore to avoid name repetition, and while true, or let's call function foo. I not like print underscore name, and print for example 1. What if our program and sleep 1? So sleep, if you don't know, sleep it's from type sleep, from time import sleep. Sleep is a function which stops your code for specific amount of seconds, and in our case it's 1 second. So we stop our code for 1 second and print 1 every 1 second. Okay, that's easy. Or we can print hello, for example. Okay, then what I can do here, I will call first of all listen, so our function which listens to our microphone, and then I will call foo. And I want my program to listen in the background and to print hello every second. But what's the problem? Let's run. As you can see here, now our microphone is calibrating, and I'll actually remove duration because it's very long. But now, as you can see, we should talk. We talk and unable to recognize. Okay, but the problem is we haven't seen hello message for like 10 seconds. Actually for 8 seconds, because I had duration with 5 and our record was for 3 seconds. But that's a problem. What if I want to listen forever? That's, for example, I created a game which interacts with our speech. And what if I want to listen forever? Well, there is a method for you which is called listen in the background. Well, I simply remove that and that. So in Y with mic, I will just adjust ambient noise to remove any noise if we have one, and then print talk. What I want to do here? Well, let's call stopper. I don't know how to call it, so stopper, or let's call audio stopper, like that. Audio stopper, it's a variable which will be returned from recognize listen in background. So recognition, listen in the background. What we do here? Well, first of all, we should provide a source of our audio, as we do it in with. But the main idea is that with microphone now is used only for adjusting ambient noise, and if you are in a quiet room, you just can remove it. But I'll stay here. So listen in background is called in our function without with mic. That's the main idea. And then what we do here, we should provide a function called callback. So what's a callback? Callback, it's a function which let's create function right here. Let's call it define callback. Callback, it's a function. So recognizer, it's our recognizer which was created here, and source, it's an audio which was recorded from microphone or read from our file. So actually it's an audio. Then what we need to do here, in recog.listen in the background, I should provide our callback, so callback function, but I should not call it. I should just leave the name right here, and then everything will work fine, I think. Yeah, now everything works fine. I'll remove the try except, Actually, I will copy it, and then I will pass it to our callback right here, and recognizer here and source here. So now let's have a look at our callback. It gets recognizer and our audio as source. Then we recognize our audio, and actually we print you said. If we have poor internet connection, we print that we have poor internet connection, and if we unable to recognize, we print unable to recognize. Everything will work fine. But in our listen, now what we do, we created a function listen background. We provided our microphone as a source and callback as that function. And then what is audio stopper actually? Audio stopper, it's a variable which will be used for stopping our actually it's not a variable, it's a function. It's very unusual to return a function out of another function in every language except Python, but that's the idea. So when we need to stop listening to our microphone, for example, we need to sleep for 100 seconds and then we need to stop. What I can do here is audio stopper, then I can call that function like that, and then I can provide wait for stop as false. Okay, now after 100 seconds, or let's call 1 minute, so 60 seconds, after that we will stop our listening. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, now let's have a look here. What I do, I adjust my microphone, I print talk, and I started my listening background thread. And now let's run our code to see if everything works fine. So talk, hello, hello, hello. Oh, okay, actually that's a problem, because when we call listening background here, what I can do is I can just remove sleep and audio stopper. Okay, now let's run again, and hopefully we'll, yeah, hello, hello, hello. So we can see hello here, and okay, you can see here you said hello, hello, hello. So as you can see here now, we print hello, so it can be represented as our main loop, and we can receive you said hello, hello, hello. So everything works fine. Okay, now I want to show you how we can write everything which was said. So for example, I said hello, 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 and how we can write that audio into a file. So how we can save it? Well, that's an easy one. Before try here, what I want to do is first of all, I will print source type just to show you source.type, or sorry, like that, source.type. Okay, then I want to write the data into a new file. So again, with open, we will open a file. So for example, new audio.vav, because I want to write as WAV format or VAV format. I don't know how it's called actually, how it's called properly. Okay, and then what we do here is write, but not just write binary, because we write not text but audio, and as file, for example, and then file.write. Okay, and then I want to write that source, but not just source, because source it's a class from PyAudio, and we can use get VAV data to transfer or to translate our source to VAV, and then we'll write that to our new file. Now let's run, and I'll say, for example, request. Okay, request. Okay, as you can see here, quest speech recognition audio data. I was right. And now let's have a look here. So if we have our new audio, I think, yeah, I stopped my program, and now you can see new audio.vav. Have our new audio. Okay, as you can see here, quest speech recognition audio data. I was right. And now let's have a look here. So if we have our, okay, and that's a problem. We recorded everything from request to the point where I stopped my program, and that's a problem because we want just request to be in our new audio. But what we can do is simply do something like listen in background, and once you listened, you can just audio stopper and stop, or do something like that. So restrict your audio. Okay, but now everything will work fine, and let's move along. Let's have a look. How we can use audio file? Well, we can use it as we used microphone actually. So recognizer as recognizer, and then what we can do is with audio file, and we should provide the string to that audio file. So we should provide the path. But my main.py file is in the same directory that my test.vav, and what I can do is just test.vav here, and then just file name or object, as file, I think, and recognition dot record our file. So now let's do something like audio equals recognition dot record. So what I did here, I opened the file, audio file with test.viv, and then as file. So file variable, right? File variable has audio file class in it, audio file object in it, and then we recorded everything from that file, and we can restrict it, for example, for 2 seconds. So as I did with duration. So now what I want to do is simply recognizer dot recognize Google again, and let's provide audio here, and let's just simply print it. So print recognize Google with audio. Let's run, and as you can see here, it says hello because my file test.vv says hello. And that's all useful information that I can deliver to you with speech recognition or about speech recognition. It's very useful, fast, and cool module to have in Python. So yeah, I think that's all. Good luck.